Okay, this is your WW3 News of a Sunday afternoon. I'm in a place which is another socialist shithole called Pontenera, inside of the Cineplex complex commercial area, which usually weekends you have these illegals smashing things around, threatening locals while they're drunk and so on. Well, Greta Thunberg has been talk of the town, I should say talk of the global, yet again. Climate activists, flood till activists, Hamas activists, God knows what else she's got herself into as virtual signalling as usual. She's against the Swedish government deporting illegals, she considers racist, and so on. And she tends to accuse the government of aiming those who are legally there, are not a nuisance to fool no one. You know, a radical chic's snob sipping champagne people haven't got the foggiest idea what the real world is outside. And she comes from a very wealthy family, therefore, which socialists that tend to despise middle class people and plebs in general. Basically, she was talking about her home country, Sweden. And Sweden had this open, what you would call it, narrative to welcome all so-called refugees or whatever, political asylum shit and that, which in the end the result would be economical immigrants profiting of the generous welfare system of Sweden. In these years, it's turned into a shithole in the sense of the living ghettos. They're members of gangs which fight between each other, engaging in criminal crimes of what entity God knows what knows, and the use of so-called explosives, rockets as well, to attack each other and even attack the police. There are places in Sweden the police don't even go no-go areas because these people have taken over everything. Once upon a time, a Swedish lady could have gone into the public bars topless and no one would have bothered her because it was a part of their culture. Obviously, there are some individuals like grooming gangs and these stickball illegals, you know, have no respect for women and haven't got the fog else there what a woman is, because they're probably past most of the time having sex with animals like goats or sheep. They're notoriously famous for that anyway. And obviously these so-called Islamic people, women, which basically, you know, if they go to the beach or go to, what you would call it, to the public swim bars with pyjamas on, which is a safety hazard as well, because you're in the water and this garments, they give you extra weight because they become like a sponge and they're going to come and rescue. No, you can sink or swim for I fucking care. And she's saying it's racist. Swedish authorities are kicking out illegals. And she goes on about they didn't even do this for people who've been there for years. If you're committing crimes and you're an absolute public menace or nuisance, if you're not a Swedish citizen, you should be deported. End of story. If you're there to work, to integrate, is another story. They don't seem to tell the difference between legal immigrants and illegal immigrants. Phrases are there. You can tell the difference if people have a bit of common sense. Problem is, with communists, you can't criticise them. They'll begin to cry. They want to shadow ban you and stuff like that. What they usually do is they're communist friends of the past. And they want to take you into the gulag by the secret police. And they boot the car. So it's more fashionable, more trendy, more civil to call them out, shadow ban them, gang up on them, something like that.